My dear friends, on this Good Friday, we stand at the foot of the cross, witnessing the mystery of suffering, love, and salvation. Today's readings invite us to see beyond pain and failure and to recognize God's saving work unfolding even in the darkest moment. As we reflect on the Passion of Jesus, we are challenged to ask, how do we respond to the cross in our own lives? The first reading, taken from the prophet Isaiah, comes from the time of the Babylonian exile when the people of Judah were suffering, confused, and questioning God. This passage, known as the Suffering Servant Song, was meant to give hope that their suffering was not meaningless and that God was still at work. This powerful passage describes a servant who suffers deeply, rejected, wounded, and even killed. Yet through his suffering, others are healed and saved. At first, people misunderstand him. They think he is punished by God, but later they realize he was suffering for them. On Good Friday, Christians see this fulfilled in Jesus. Like the servant, Jesus is despised, mocked, and crucified. He does not fight back, but accepts suffering out of love. His pain is not useless. It becomes a source of healing, forgiveness, and new life for others. The beautiful message that this passage gives us is that God works through what looks like failure. The servant has no beauty or power, yet he brings salvation. Often we too ignore or reject what seems weak or insignificant. But God's way is different. He brings hope through suffering, not by avoiding it. Good Friday invites us to see our own suffering in a new light. When we face pain, rejection, or sacrifice, it is not meaningless. Like the servant, we are called to trust God and offer our struggles in love for others. The cross teaches us that even in the darkest moment, God is quietly bringing life, healing, and redemption. The second reading, taken from the letter to the Hebrews, presents Jesus as our great high priest, someone who stands between God and humanity. But unlike other priests, Jesus truly understands us. He has faced suffering, fear, and pain. On Good Friday, we see this clearly. In the Garden of Gethsemane, Jesus prays with tears and anguish, and on the cross, he experiences deep suffering and even abandonment. Hebrews reminds us that Jesus did not escape suffering. He entered into it fully. Through his obedience, even to death, he became the source of salvation for all. His suffering was not weakness. It was love in action. He trusted the Father even in the darkest moment. Because of this, we are told, approach the throne of grace with confidence. This is the heart of Good Friday. We do not come to a distant or harsh God, but to a compassionate one who knows our struggles from within. Good Friday invites us to bring our pain, fears, and weaknesses to Jesus without fear. He understands. When we feel overwhelmed, rejected, or broken, we are not alone. Christ has been there before us. His cross teaches us that suffering, when united with love and trust in God, can become a path to life. Today we are called not just to look at the cross, but to trust the one who hangs on it and to place our lives in his hands. Whenever there is an accident, you'll notice how people react so differently. Everyone sees the same event, yet their responses are completely varied. One person rushes to help the injured, another stands frozen in fear. Someone starts blaming loudly, while a few simply walk away as if nothing has happened. When you see all this, you realize the real story was not just the accident, but how each person responded to it. Think of the last time you saw an accident. What role did you play? This is exactly what we see in the Passion of Jesus. The same moment, the same Jesus, but so many different hearts. John's passion is full of mixed emotions: fear, anger, betrayal, power, silence, and love. Soldiers come with weapons, Peter reacts with violence, Pilate struggles with truth, the crowd shouts, and in the middle of it all stands Jesus, calm, aware, and ready to accept the cross. He is not a helpless victim. He steps forward and says, "I am He." Even in chaos, He is in control. An interesting question that is part of this narrative is, what is truth? Pilate asks it, but does not wait for an answer. Truth is standing right in front of him, yet his heart is hardened. The real danger is not that we suffer, but that our hearts become hard in the process. This is one of the deepest tragedies of the Passion. Not just suffering, but blindness. People see Jesus yet fail to recognize Him. And yet, John shows us something powerful. God's hand is at work even in chaos. The arrest, the trial, the crucifixion, everything seems broken and unjust, but nothing is outside God's plan. Even the details, the seamless garment, the timing, the words from the cross, point to a deeper purpose. God is not absent. He is quietly transforming suffering into salvation. Jesus did not just carry the cross, He chooses it, and in doing so, He transforms chaos into meaning. Good Friday is not just about what was done to Jesus, but what Jesus does with it. He takes betrayal and turns it into forgiveness. He takes violence and turns it into love. He takes death and turns it into life. Today we are invited to look at our own lives. We too experience chaos, confusion, and woundedness. Sometimes we react like Peter with anger. Sometimes like Pilate, avoiding truth. Sometimes like the crowd, going along blindly. But Jesus shows another way. To face reality with courage, to trust God in confusion, and to choose love even when it costs us. The cross is not the end of the story. It is where God begins something new. On this Good Friday, don't just look at the cross. Let the cross change the way you live. Today, choose one response. Forgive someone, accept one struggle with trust, or stand for truth even when it is difficult. May God bless us all.